Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday. It's May the 12th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and not a lot of entries today. There's really not, but there. If you caught, I'll start right here. I really went back and forth over this one. This one was right in around the 7 o'clock hour, and the fact that we overshot this and this kind of fits off the upper side, as you can see. When this bounced right here, you might have thought about going long there, but there's just not a very good setup. But as it crawled up that line, you might have thought about entering, but then you're getting really close to the high here. So I just think it's too risky. I'm not going to mark it. But you might have considered going long there. So I just really struggled with that one and went back and forth. But you get a great setup right here, and you could have ridden this runner all the way to the top. This is where I would have probably exited when it broke lower and went back and then turned down right here, unless you just exited once you got kind of a measured move up here bouncing off this upper side. But this, a lot of times when you see these lots of little dojis and little small bars that just keep going higher, even though it doesn't look like it, those can be strong trends. So you got to be careful about exiting too early sometimes on those. And this one was a little bit, there's a couple of different reasons I want to talk about this one. We kind of overshot the upper side, and notice we kind of undershot it an equal amount. But there's some other reasons that'll get you into this without it touching this side. And that's what'll happen. When you get an overshoot, you'll either get an equal overshoot on this side or you'll undershoot it by an equal amount. And in this case, we just kind of undershot it by an equal amount. But this is a second entry long. Notice pullback first entry, pullback second entry. Nice second entry long. But there's also a little double bottom here with a little failed break lower, and it bounces right off the EMA. There's enough room to get out before getting to that high. And of course, this thing just keeps going. It turns out to be a pretty good trade. Then you get a chance to get in here when it does come back to the trend line. And you could have had your trend line a couple of different places in here. You might have had it like that. Come in. Okay, had a slight interruption there, and I can't even remember where we were yet. I think we were talking about this trade, but it bounces. Notice this, you made a new high, so this is like a breakout pullback long, but the real thing I liked about this, it's off the trend line. You've got a low here, and you try to go lower once, twice, so it's a failed second entry short, really. It gives you all the things you want to go off to go long here. You might consider a limit order here because it didn't close, the signal bar didn't close on its high right there. So you might have thought about a limit order. Yeah, but either way, the trade would have worked. But it's not a perfect signal bar, but you got the trap. You got the new low, first entry, pullback, second entry. And this is like a double bottom right here. These lows across here, and you tested them twice more, but then you bounce off. The something doesn't look right about that line right there. I'm going to redo it. That's probably exactly what happened. If you don't grab it in the right spot, well, I don't know if it looks any different now or not. I guess it was okay anyway, but it doesn't look right there for some reason. Maybe this one's a little far. Maybe it's that one that's off. Yeah, that's the problem. For some reason that one's off a little bit. Still don't know if it looks any different, but anyway, you get the point. We bounce right here. Second, it's really a first entry long, but this is kind of a trading range, breakout pullback long. Again, we got a double bottom. We tested it once here, twice. It bounces right off that, right off your trend line. So I like going long right there. Then you get another second entry long. You got a new high, pullback first entry, pullback second entry, and really this was the first break. You get a nice bar there. The only thing I didn't like about this one is by the time you get in, you don't have enough room to scalp out. and get your 4 ticks. So if you did go long right here, especially with those 4 bars stacked up like that, um, you definitely probably want to use a limit order. Otherwise, I don't think you'll get out on a stop. Stop would have been 88.75, and it probably would have been a 4 tick failure. You might have got out of that. I doubt it. So you just about have to use a limit order right there, especially on a day. You don't want to get caught up here and watch it come back and stop you out only to go where you think it's going to go. So you got to be real careful on those. Then you get a pullback. And this is kind of a repeat pattern of what we had previously. You got those matching lows right across there. It breaks lower, but it also tests this again. Gives you a little bitty bar, and this is looking like a trading range. And actually, there's kind of a midline right in there. You can see that. And so goes higher right there. You can just use a stop on that one if you like, because you're getting in at the very lows. And then you get a second entry long right here. But notice too, the new low, first entry pullback, second entry. So there's a failed second entry short there, and it gives you room to get out before you get up here. So I like that one too. Again, it's not a beautiful signal bar, so you might have used a limit order, but I don't know if you'd have got filled on that one. It took off pretty quick when it broke higher. So you had to almost trade this one like a trap. And it does give you room to get out before you get to the highs then. And then you get another opportunity right here, but again, it's too close to those highs up there. I just think it's too risky. It would have worked, but I just don't think you can go long there. It's too risky. And you do have a trend line here working up, but I think the little range here is probably taking precedence. And I haven't seen anything else. So not a lot of entries today. And again, you know, depending on how you were looking at this, you might have, you know, been really aggressive getting long there. And then even here. But I just don't see how you can take that one. Especially when you've got when you pretty much can see this trading range right across here. It's no real secret that that's there. That one's pretty obvious. And this one you could have just seen it as a pull back to the midline, and so you might have wanted to take that one there. But that's it for today, and I haven't seen anything else since. Failed break higher here with a second entry short, but I don't like that setup either. You might have gone short right there, and you could have gotten out. But I don't think it's a really good one because you haven't really been able to prove that this trend is not reestablishing itself yet. So there's no break of this trend channel, so it's really risky going short right there, even on that trap. But that's pretty much it for today. No charts to show today. It's been kind of quiet this morning. I think that's going to wrap it up. So hope you had a good trading day. Probably one of the quickest chart lessons we've had lately. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else here. I don't see anything. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll be back to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to close it up for today. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.